Right now, there are 108,709 people waiting for an organ donation, according to UNOS. Each one of these people is someone with a family, a life, and things that they wish they could do. Instead, they're living their lives waiting. Each and every day, they are waiting to receive a call from their doctor telling them that everything is about to change. They found a matching organ that's ready for donation. Well, you have the ability to be the reason someone receives this call. If you haven't already, you should all consider registering to become an organ donor. Several years ago, I decided to sign myself up to become one, and after doing even more research on the benefits, I hope that one day I'm able to give someone a second life at chance and give even more people a better one. Despite the many misconceptions, end-of-life organ donation is a great way to perform one final act of kindness. So, why is there such a high demand for registered organ donors? Although it's sad to think about it, a number of Americans are told each day that they will need medical intervention in order to continue living their lives the way they want to. In fact, a person is added to the waiting list every 9 minutes, according to the HRSA. There's a plethora of diseases and disorders that lead to someone being added to this list. Some of these affect more important body systems necessary for survival, and others are less important, but they still might be necessary for the quality of life. Luckily, according to UNOS, in 2019, there were 39,719 transplants performed. According to them, this is an 8.7% increase from the previous year, which is great. However, despite these increases, medical professionals are still faced with the issues of viable donors. Unfortunately, only 3 in 1,000 registered donors die in a way in which their organs are still viable. This leads to a slow progression of the list, which can be deadly for some patients. The most serious cases on the transplant list include major vital organs. These can include a heart, kidney, liver, lung, pancreas, or even small intestine. Now, the majority of these donations are made after the donor's death. However, there is a whole other subsection of live donors, which we aren't going to get into. But many times, recipients are close to the end of their lives at the point of these donations. In fact, an average of 17 people die every day waiting for an organ. However, there are more than just major organs that can help. For example, donors can choose to also donate their, here it is, skin, corneas, tendons, bone, nerve, and heart valves. Now, this seems really intimidating and it's really weird, to be honest, but these types of donations make huge differences in the lives of the recipients, whether it's the victim of a fire or a natural disaster or some other accident. Donations made to improve lives and not just save them are just as needed. Luckily, there's a way to save many of these waiting list patients. By registering to become an organ donor, each person on the list has another small piece of hope for their future. By registering yourself, not only can you help save up to 8 lives, but you can know that you have potential to help even more after you pass away. Just imagine what all these individuals have the opportunities to do again. It's really hard to see any downsides to registering yourself, but false information is often spread around the topic, so there are a lot of fears. I understand that because I was once in a position to make the decision myself, and I had some of those thoughts in my head. But after educating myself, I really don't see a valid reason to not sign up. Now, most important is the claim that the doctors will not try as hard to save a donor's life if they make it known that they are an organ donor. Fortunately for us who have signed up to donate, doctors are required by law to exhaust all possible life-saving actions before even considering adding someone to the list of donated organs. Only after brain death is officially announced can a person be added to UNOS. Second, there's a lot of false information about how recipients are chosen. Many claims that celebrities get moved up faster have been made, but when looking at the actual steps that occur, it's clear that that's not possible. The allocation of these organs is a really complicated process. Most obviously, when an organ is added into the system, a computer program will eliminate the candidates that would be the most incompatible with the donation. This includes people who have unmatching blood types, incorrect organ sizes, or even geographical location errors. Now, after narrowing down patients that match, they are ranked while considering the urgency of the patient's survival without the organ, the distance of which the organ would have to travel and the time it would take, and the chance of survival once it gets to the patient. The person highest on this list will then be the one to receive the organ. Another common reason that people don't sign up is the belief that medical conditions might prevent someone from being an organ donor, which, while certain factors do contribute, the health of a donor is fully evaluated at the time of death. And despite having pre-existing conditions, doctors still encourage everyone to sign up to be a donor. In fact, this can apply to people living with chronic diseases, cancer, or even other serious diseases, myself included. I'm a registered donor, even though I have since been diagnosed with a bleeding disorder and a heart condition, neither of which are going to be solved at any point in my life. However, after talking with my doctors, they encouraged me to remain a donor because even though right now I can't walk into, say, a Red Cross and donate blood, I can still donate my organs when I pass away. So, there really isn't a reason to not, but a lot of the fears can also come from what happens after the process in terms of a funeral. It's commonly really hard for people to believe that their funeral can remain how it would be already in their head with an open casket and a viewing with their family. Now, realistically, the organ donation process is very respected, and the patients are all treated with the absolute utmost respect, and everyone is closed up after their surgery. So even if you do donate your organs, you will still be able to have an open casket funeral. Now, another thing I want to address is the financial burden for families of the patients. A lot of people have asked if the families will have to pay for the process of donating these organs, and the answer is absolutely not. There is no added expense to registering yourself to become a donor. The only expenses that your family would ever have to pay at the time of donation would be the costs that would be the same if you weren't a donor, meaning funeral costs for afterwards, as well as the treatment in order to try to save the life. There are so many examples of the ways that these organ donations have changed lives. In fact, take Alejandro here, for example. He received new corneas, and although I'm not sure you can see it perfectly, he is wearing glasses in this picture. He is a little bit older than he was when he received it, but he, from birth, was told that he was going to have vision problems, and it was a huge concern to his parents. He has Ched disease, which will lead to blindness. However, he was given the gift of sight at the age of 7 due to a cornea transplant. And now his life, although it was never in danger, is severely affected and extremely, extremely impacted by the generous donation. Now, it's clear how much of a difference organ donation makes. So imagine what it would be like if everyone decided to register. Imagine the feeling of relief a patient gets when they receive word that their life is about to change. Not only is the patient going to be overwhelmed with joy, but their family and friends are too. And although it may be sad to consider, think about how proud your family would be if they knew you had saved so many people as your final act. The possibility that two strangers walking down the street are connected by being saved by the same donor is just incredible to me. Each donation rewrites a life, and second chances are given. It doesn't just feel good to think about. It feels even better knowing that someday you too can make a difference. Don't just take it from me. You can experience this feeling for yourself. It's really easy. All you have to do is take a couple steps. First, make the decision. Once you know that you're ready to do this, take it from there. But if you still need time to consider it, I recommend that you do take that time. This is a big choice, and it will affect what happens to you. But once you decide that this really is the best route for you, you can either go online and just with a couple of minutes and a photo ID, register yourself there, or you can go in person to your local DMV and register through them. Lastly, make sure that you tell your family if you register. This is super important because if you are in a situation where you can't tell the doctor yourself, you're going to want to make sure that you can still save everyone. Now, who knows? Maybe one day there's going to be a world where people won't have to worry as much about transplants and not having enough donors. But until then, please sign up.